I think there's something that goes unlived within all of us. And for me, one of those things is teaching. Teaching all of the things that I have learned. I have undergone a wild transformation over the past 10 years, a beautiful transformation, difficult transformation. And I don't want that transformation to end with me. Um, so this is part of my evolution to teach what I've learned, what I'm continuing to learn. And I have a podcast. It's called A Meaningful Life, which I love. And I think it's great. And this will be a continuation slash extension of that. But I find myself really drawn to YouTube. I like it. I learn from it all the time. I learned how to cut my children's hair from YouTube University. I think it's so great. And it's easy for me to sit behind a microphone without a camera. And it's harder to do this. And so I really wanted to challenge myself in this area and give it a whirl and just see how it goes. I come from a television background. I was a news anchor and a reporter for 10 years. I worked in top markets across the country, and it's been great because I have so many skills that I learned during that time that are really transferable for me. But the problem with that is I come from always having to have perfect hair. I would spend hours on my makeup, like perfect lighting, perfect, just it was so much work. And that has become a bit of a block for me over the years, like even now. And I haven't been in the television industry in 10 years. And I find myself still to this day sometimes not hitting record, whether it's a social media post, whether it's a podcast episode, whether it's doing this right here, which I've been telling myself I was going to do for years. And I was like, I work full time. I'm a mom to two boys, and I'm just like, I don't have time to do my hair. I don't have time to do my makeup. I don't have time to produce all this stuff. And it really, two things. It really took me seeing other people who are doing this, not all fancied up, not all gussied up, as you say in the South, showing up like as they are, that has given me the motivation, inspiration to do that as well. Because I connect with those people. They're real. And we live in this world in 2026 where AI is becoming huge, and perfection in writing and production and creating imagery, video, anything is becoming easier and easier. But there are pieces of being human that can never be replaced. And connecting with other humans that look like humans, that sound like humans, that mess up, that are whatever, is going to feel really refreshing to us. Or at least it has to me. So what was the other thing? That was one. Oh, and two, I just want to expand on this work I'm doing, and I want to do what I often support other people in, which is just doing the thing. Don't wait for it to be perfect, for you to look perfect, for whatever. Just do it. Just try. One of my favorite sayings that I like to say when I'm working with someone and they're like, well, what will happen? I'm like, well, there's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find out. So this is me finding out. And so it is my intention to do this more. This is my first video. I don't know if I'm going to post it. Maybe I will. Here's my little Mickey Mouse mug. We took the boys to Disney for the first time this year. And because I come from a background where everything is perfectly edited, even in my podcast, I want it to be like a really good listening experience. And so I will cut out ums or places where I go blah, 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 or misspeak and stuff like that. And I really don't want to do that here. And I want this to just be a place of connection and a place for me to share all the things I'm learning. Because when I tell you, I used to be the biggest worry wart full of anxiety, living in fear person I knew, I was. And I'm not. And I have found a way out of that. And I have spent the past 10 years of my life becoming aware of that, learning what it takes to break through that. And part of that is, like, even just now, I heard my husband coming up the stairs. He was going to open the door. And I froze because I'm like, nobody can be in here. But here's the thing, like, he works from home. I have 2 boys. There's people outside doing landscaping right now. The perfect setup of like perfect quiet. It's not real. It's not going to happen. And if I wait for that, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do it. And I'm just hoping there's other people out there, moms, dads, you get it, and you'll connect with that and you'll relate with that. I know that when I'm watching some of my favorite YouTubers, let me rephrase that, because there's not a lot out there that aren't super polished and in a studio and all of that. So maybe I'll get that wrong. I don't know. But I did look at a bunch of other podcasters and stuff like that, and I was like, well, I can't, because I have to wait till I can get a studio or rent space in a studio or make my house look like a studio, which this is what we got right now. There's no big budget for a studio right now. And I hop around sometimes. Like, I'm in my 40s. I'm in the perimenopausal phase, and sometimes I forget what I'm saying. Y'all might have to remind me. I don't even remember where I was going. I was telling you about my husband coming up the stairs. So yeah, I'm just, this is my goal with this. I'm just gonna roll with it, and we'll see if you guys want to roll with me. And if I get it wrong, maybe one day we'll just get a better setup. But I truly want to prove to myself and to anyone else out there that has something to share, has something to say, has a journey that could inspire someone. I want to prove to them and to myself that you don't have to have the perfect setup. Like, you can show up sometimes without being, I have meetings today, so I did actually shower today, but that you can show up as you are. And it doesn't matter what your surroundings look like or what you look like. What matters is your heart and what you're putting out there. And I heard this phrase one time, and I do believe it, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. And your work, your message, your teaching, your content is not going to be for everybody, but it is going to be for somebody. There's going to be somebody out there that connects with it and learns from it and appreciates it, and you will likely never know. You will likely never hear that. And I just think that's really important to reminder. So, let's see how this little experiment goes. Consistency has been a big struggle for me, which is something I'm working to overcome by just not overthinking it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time editing these episodes. What comes. But like I said, I am a mom of 2 young boys, and I work full time, and I love my job. But these things are important to me, and I know the reason me sharing the things I'm learning in my journey is so important to me is because it's the people that I leaned on and that I listened to when I was going through a really, really hard time. I was going through a spiritual awakening of sorts, a cracking open, if you will. And it's these people who just talked and shared and made me see, like, a whole different side of life, a whole different perspective on certain things, and sparked inquiry and intrigue, and helped me learn a lot about myself. And so, if I can be that for somebody out there, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, I feel like that will be a good thing. So, with that, I will tell you a little bit about myself in case you just happen to stumble across this, or Instagram. Instagram's tricky because, like, I like it and I'm on there. And any of you who create on Instagram know, like, even a 10-second reel or a 30-second reel, it takes a lot of thought, and you want the algorithm to like it, and you don't have that much time. And I'm finding that the things I am learning about and talking about and teaching about, they take time. And I want to allow for some breathing room in these conversations and not feel like I have to cram it all into a 30-second reel. They're helpful. And I think, there is a place for all. But I think I'm in the search of, what is the best use of my limited time and effort to make impact in people's lives, a positive impact, and help them live a more meaningful life. That's my whole goal, is to help people live a meaningful life they're proud of, because this is something I have figured out finally in my own life. Not that I'm not continuing to learn, not that I'm not continuing to grow, not that I will always be learning and growing, but I have got to this place where I'm really proud of my life. I'm really proud of who I'm becoming. I'm really proud of where I'm at and how far I've come from the way I used to feel inside my body. And so anyway, I think I know some of these things, just they take more time, they take more conversation, they take more thought. And again, since I am a perimenopausal woman, there needs to be breathing room between my thoughts, because it's just, back when I was 20, baby, I could fire it off. But now there's a lot of tabs open in there. There's a lot. And so yeah, I was actually just talking to somebody about this the other day. But I've been doing this work quietly, where, I facilitate a women's group a couple times a month, and I host workshops and events on a very small occasional scale right now. And that is another area where I hope to grow in one day when it makes sense. But just being in a room of women and talking about the things we talk about. We have a women's group where we have a little share circle time when we first meet, and then we have a topic we discuss. We journal about the topic and really try to integrate the learning, and then we end with the meditation. It's lovely. It's an hour, and sometimes we get in there and someone has something heavy they're dealing with, or somebody just needs people to be with them, and like the whole topic goes out the window and we just focus on that, which is awesome. But just not feeling the pressure to have to fill every second, and to allow breathing room in your thoughts and in your conversations, is a lovely thing. And it's something I'm trying to practice more. And it's one of those things I've been trying to unlearn, because coming from a television background, you didn't want any dead air, as they call it. You got to fill you don't want too many long pauses, because that was awkward and cringy and it felt so weird. And so breaking those habits is really, really hard. And I try to do that with my guests on the podcast and let it be a really nice, natural conversation. That's my goal anyway. So anyway, that's part of what I'll be carrying into here. So I know I do remember I said I was going to tell you a little bit about myself. So that I was a news anchor reporter for 10 years. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I have a podcast called A Meaningful Life. I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I might cut this out as well. But another thing that's really fun for me right now is I am realizing that I love to learn. Love it. To the point where I'm like, if I loved to learn this much when I was younger, I would have crushed it. I was not a huge fan of school. It was chaotic. It was loud. It was very overwhelming for me. And I don't know. I got through it. But man, I feel like there's so many wasted years that I'm trying to make up for. But now I can't get enough learning. And I don't know if you're like me, but when you are busy and you work full time and you have kids, you'll read something, it'll be amazing, it'll be impactful, and then woof, it's gone. And I find when I have conversation about it, it helps sink deeper and get to a place where it lives longer. There's so many things I'm like, I want this to be in my brain forever. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's so true. And so I'm hopeful that by sharing these things and talking about them and hopefully inspiring and engaging with you, it will not only benefit you, but me as well, and helping me retain all this awesome information I'm learning. So anyway, that's me. My name's Kelly. Thank you for being here. If you listen to this, if it even gets posted, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. And first video done. Let's go. Am I supposed to say the things that people on YouTube say, like and subscribe? That's new. No, but for real, if you like this video, subscribe. Maybe you should wait. Just wait until I do a few more, then you can decide if you want to like and subscribe, and we'll go from there. Okay? Cheers.